What is going on, guys? It is Brad and Cheech here from Crush This, a Monster Jam podcast. And you know what? We really didn't have a guest for this week. And, I was texting with Cheech earlier, and he's like, yeah, let's just shoot the shit. Let's just
we
have a,
got
have a chat. And
we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
yeah,
Last week Tim Tyson was supposed to be in full recovery. Try to get him. We're gonna get him another time, but the heat really got to him. He got a heat stroke working on his deck in at home in Florida. So we'll get him back on and all that jazz and have fun with that. I think next week we're probably gonna have Preston Perez on and have back in schedule. But man, I just wanted to talk about this week. I'm actually the last couple weeks, and
yeah, it's been a pretty big couple of weeks for you there, bud. You're the hometown show for the Hall Brothers team. Then you were going all around, going to some shows. The Brickyard
mhm.
400. Talk about how the last couple of weeks have gone for you, bud.
Man. So let's start off with this. Want to give a shout out to my buddy Andy Ullum, best friend. His father passed away on August 1st. So prayers coming out his way and all that jazz, man. Much love and be there for you. But so it's actually started off when we did the jamboree. What's up, Chris? And when we went to the jamboree, um, Andy got in, hung out, and then the week beforehand, a week after, I mean, we I messaged him because we were supposed to have that weekend off for hold on.
Cheech will be right back. I'm just sharing to all the
Sorry about
different
that.
groups. There we go.
No, I went down the wrong tube on my drink, so sorry about that, folks.
Okay.
So anyway, so we went to Bloomsburg and he hung out and he helped me out with my display truck and stuff like that for the jamboree. And we were technically we were trying to shoot to go to the Pocono race there, and because of the jamboree we missed out. We saw some NASCAR fans at Sheets and stuff like that, which was pretty cool.
Woo, Sheets.
And we so we had the weekend off, the following week. And I text messaged Andy and I was like, "Hey, NASCAR's at Indy this weekend, right?" He said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." My mom and dad were supposed to go to what's up? What's happening, Steve?
What's up, Steve?
To see me at Champaign, but they went to Lancaster and hooked us up and stuff like that. So thanks, mom and dad. Went to the show, the race. Got turn 3 tickets, so I parked the truck at turn 3. Um, he showed me where all the like merchandise and stuff like that is, and got a picture with I forget his name, the Horizon driver, Mike McDowell.
Oh yeah, Michael
And
McDowell.
saw all those people and stuff like that. And yeah, oh, man, it was. And then, man, I'm trying to collect everything going on here. So we were in section A, which section A is kind of the front straightaway of the racetrack. You can't really, unless you're in the Japanese tower type deal, you can't see anything anyway. So the whole track, I mean.
Yeah.
So we saw the turn 4 front straightaway all the way down to turn 1 and exit out that way. So we were watching the race and stuff like that, and we also did the pit walk beforehand too. So we saw the cars. I got a picture next to Ryan Blaney's car. Andy got his picture next to Kyle Larson's car. We saw a bunch of cool cars. Like Bubba Wallace's Air Force car was pretty cool. And then who drive the 45 for 2311?
45
Tyler Reddick's
is
car.
Yeah, Reddick.
His Monster Energy Beast car was awesome. Sad thing, you ain't gonna get that as a die cast because Monster
Alcohol.
Energy and Red Bull is some type of deal. So we watched the race, and those cars are loud. I thought monster trucks were loud. Those cars are loud. Loud. And so they rate, it was funny because you hear them going, vroom, 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 vroom. And they have televisions on the stands. So you go, vroom, 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 vroom. So that was going on, and then the controversy at the end of the show. We saw Kyle Larson kiss the bricks. I guess we didn't know about it, but the cool thing about Kyle Larson, him and his team stayed to sign autographs for anyone that was there. At the end of all the stuff that was going on with the bricks, he came over and he said, open up the gates, and people got signatures. We didn't know that. We already left. But it was cool. I mean, it was my third NASCAR race. Me and Pops went to Pocono in 2000. Then I went again with Burt Rozak at Dover in 2011. So this is my first kind of big racetrack. And well, not really. I can't even say that. Pocono is about the same thing, but Pocono, you can't really see anything anyway.
I'd say like the Brickyard's kind of one of those pillar races in NASCAR. Like now that they're back to the oval, like you have like there's certain tracks that have just an aura about it. Daytona, Darlington, and I'd say the Brickyard's up there with that kind of thing.
I think they say the Crown Jewel is
Crown
Darlington.
Jewel races.
Yeah, Daytona, the 500, obviously. Darlington, the Southern 500. The Brickyard 400. Hold on. Actually, I know I searched on my phone one. Crown.
But it's one of those tracks that has just even before NASCAR was ever there, the Indy 500, all the Formula One races. It's a track that has a certain aura about it. Like I remember when I went down to Indy 2 years ago, when Richie Kaiser was bringing me to the Indy airport for my flight to Chicago, even just driving past that
the
track.
Coca-Cola 600.
Yes, the Coke 600. Even just driving by that track, there's just a certain feeling you get. You know what I mean?
When I was talking to Andy, and I was like, it's weird knowing that we're at an establishment that isn't NASCAR favored.
No.
Indianapolis is Indy cars. Like one race out of the whole year, it's robust. It's huge for ticket prices. But if you go to I think, while you're doing that, Indy 500.
There's a video on YouTube. The guy is under NASCAR Man History, and there's a video entitled Brickyard 400 Building the Biggest Race Ever. It's about a 40-minute documentary about how that race became the Brickyard 400. Watch it. It's such a cool video because there's certain people that didn't want that race, the Brickyard 400, to ever be there. They were like, no, This is IndyCar territory only. But then when they announced it and started doing it, they pre-sold so many tickets. And there's an interesting fact that they always took a certain amount of seating out for the Brickyard in those years to make it that Indy the 500 was still the bigger race of the two.
Correct. So let's see here. I searched the Indy 500 in Indianapolis, and now I'm searching for tickets on Ticketmaster at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Gateway, basically St. Louis. Let's see here. Yeah, they're racing on the 17th, which also on the 17th, I will be at Springdale, Arkansas for the Insanity Monster Truck Tour. Okay, let's say here. So the cheapest ticket for Indy's $119.
That's not bad.
No, but for Indianapolis, the cheapest ticket's at $199.
That's still not too bad.
I know, but still, I mean, saying compared to
like just a normal regular season race, it just it shows that Indy still has, even though like they did the road course the last couple years, and the Xfinity Series is now racing at the big track. That race, the Brickyard race, still has a significance about it, in my opinion.
Right.
That's just my opinion. It still draws attention to it, right?
It is, but compared to the late 90s, the early 2000s, it's not as big as it was back then. If you take a look at the videos and all that stuff about it, they're full. They're packed. This event last like couple weeks ago, I don't know what you call that straightaway between the turns. Turn 1, 2, and then you got that kind of type deal between them.
It's an interesting shape for the track. And I'm pretty sure it's one of the longest tracks they race on, I think.
2.5, same amount as Daytona. Talladega's 2.75.
It just looks longer just because of the shape of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and an SQ. Okay, yeah. So Kurt helped out there. They had Pennzoil sponsorship all along the seats on that area of the track. And then on the other side was PPG. And even on the front straightaway, in some of the front straightaways itself, had banners saying, this is the racing capital of the world type deal.
Yeah.
But they haven't had that big of attendance since 2017. So that has to tell you from 18-19, the COVID era, to now, that for that big of a racetrack, people watching has really declined. But this one made up for it. And a lot of the past drivers, like Jeff Gordon, commented saying the feel of the area still feels like 1994. So it was cool. While you're at it, let's see here. I got some items I want to show you guys about that. But I don't know how I can get from the seat to my items without Brad. Talk to them.
Okay. Like there's some NASCAR, like I don't watch NASCAR regularly myself. Like there's a certain few races that I always will try to hit, like watch. I try to watch Bristol, obviously one of my favorite races, Daytona at the beginning of the year, Darlington. I watched some of the road courses I watched, but like I really didn't watch even too much NASCAR growing up when it was on TNN. But yeah.
Hey Andy, how you doing? So before I show you the Brickyard thing, I always collect one memorabilia that I get to go for big stuff. This right here, this is for the National Championship college football stuff that happened in Houston. I did the display with the Raminator football truck.
You're on a solo, right there, so people can see better.
Riding solo. I'm riding solo. So this right here was a radio that when you're in the stands, you put it. All right, go on the other side.
Oh, that's neat.
You put it on your ear. And you listen to the game while you're in the stands. You could go to either the Michigan radio or Washington's radio that you would normally hear at the on the radio as sports and stuff like that. You listen to it, all this stuff. It was kind of typical. Like Andy had a racing radio. You can go back to the main screen if you can, Brad. The racing radio stuff that you can listen to the NASCAR guys talking, the pit crews and stuff like that. He had that. I also used my Bluetooth earphones and listened to the Indianapolis radio network while the cars were going by. But with the purchase of the ticket, you got one of these. So you want to go solo? Yeah, I'll go solo. You got one of these.
Oh, yeah.
With the ticket and all the information, a lanyard, and look at this book, Brad.
Oh, that's dope. Bill Elliott on there. Hell yeah.
Look at that. The 30th anniversary book. I also got a t-shirt from there too. And both me and Andy both got the winning car diecast that we ordered. But they basically show, different. The Kissing the Bricks from Dale Jarrett.
One of the most underrated racers, in my opinion.
Yeah. You don't know how many times Jeff Gordon had to correct all the news people because they thought he was the one that started Kiss the Bricks, and he kept on saying, no, Dale Jarrett did. This was pretty neat. So everyone that worked at Indianapolis had their names on it, so it's kind of reminding like a little poster.
Oh, that's neat.
The t-shirt that I got is the same thing right there.
And Andy said you got to Kiss the Bricks as well.
Yes, both me and Andy did. We did the track walk and stuff like that, which was freaking sweet. Here, do you like this?
Austin Bill from Dawsonville, one of my all-time favorites.
I like to go to that place in Dawsonville where the thing's at. They had a big deal with Penske. But they weren't talking about the IndyCar. They were talking about the NASCAR. And this was pretty cool, too. They showed all the cars' lineups. So everyone that was in there. And then they would tell you how many times they would win. Like Brad Keselowski here would say, best finish won in 2009. Brickyard win 2018. And that was pretty much it. They had a section of it to talk about Olympics. They had Olympic trials that they did for at the Indianapolis Raceway. They talked about Xfinity. They had the Xfinity list drivers there. They even have Haley Deegan as a focal point, but she wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, Josh Berry's in that car.
Oh, look at that. You guys, you monster truck fans will like this.
Steps Towing.
Yep, the official towing for Indianapolis and NASCAR. They did a bunch of stuff. Yep, here it is.
Yeah.
Haley Deegan ride up, even though she got kicked out of her ride. But the experience of it is freaking cool. They also talked about the micro. There's a big race going to be happening there.
Oh yeah, the BC 39.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called.
I even though the experience was awesome.
What's up, Brad? What's up, Mr. Kovacs? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? For me though, if I would say I've never been to the 500, I would love to go to the 500. I could say I've been to the biggest event of monster trucks. I could say I've been to one of the biggest NASCAR events. I would love to go to the Indy 500. And I also have been to the biggest NHRA drag racing event. For me personally, the atmosphere-wise, nothing as of right now can beat the U.S. Nationals.
Right.
You had 7 groups of cars. Just the experience, knowing Neil and Brian, watching the announcers do their thing. But the fan access was awesome. It was interesting because in at the Brickyard, you had to be in a certain place at a certain time to see a driver, unless you pay buku bucks to go in the pits, um, and all that jazz, which is crazy because when you go to the pit stalls and stuff at Indy, they're already packed and ready to go to head out. They're already done.
Yeah.
All they're doing is get the pit road and get everything going on there. But going on and you're walking at the NHRA event pit stall, and then you're looking at like the hospitality, or the cars itself, and out of nowhere, when I went to the US Nationals, Courtney Force comes over and says, "Hey, you want to get a photo?" "Yeah, sure." "You want to sign my card?" "Yeah." Or Leah Pruitt, aka Leah Stewart, comes over randomly and says, "Hey," Matt Hagan. These drivers just become a lot more personal,
Yeah.
and
Like
and
well, I was gonna say, like, I remember the only NHRA race I was ever at was Bristol 2005, and I had family down in Tennessee. My grandmother, rest in peace, she had remarried and was living down in Sparta, Tennessee. So we flew down there, and it was close to about Mother's Day, and we were only there for one day, and it rained. I didn't get to see any action on the track besides maybe some super stock, and that was about it. But I still remember walking through the pits and meeting guys like Corey McLenithan, getting to meet Robert Height in his rookie season, getting an autograph, Cruz Pedregon, meeting John Force, which is still one of the coolest experiences I remember. Okay, it rained all day, and I sat at his pit stall almost all day waiting to meet my hero, and getting to see like Austin Coyle, like Warren Johnson work on his car. Like, that's why I think NHRA is one of the premier sports. And like, if you look at how they've been doing this year on the TV broadcasts, you look at Gainesville, sold out. Pomona, basically sold out. So many of the tracks are selling out. People are realizing that NHRA is badass. And that's the reason, all the reason why, and how much access you get to the pits with just your ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And then with the US Nationals, you not just have your 4, you have between 8 or 9 different classes of racers also. So and they're throughout the whole area. You have different like Dodge has their drag racing thing. You can drive a simulator. Obviously I hooked you up with a John Force t-shirt that they have their their merchandise stand and everything like that. It's crazy to see, but you get better access than you do the monster truck shows. Sometimes you have to buy a ticket, or you have to buy a pit party ticket, or you have to wait for the driver. The only other group that I know that gives you that access like NHRA is when you go to a jamboree, because the trucks are out there, fans can walk out, sign, you can hang out with the drivers, talk to the drivers, stuff like that. But outside of that, I can't think of any other motorsports or any other sports in general that you can get the access that you can do with compared to NHRA.
Oh yeah, and especially with the U.S. Nationals, you mentioned how many classes. Usually on like a typical national event weekend, you'll have like your sportsman classes, your super stock, top alcohol, all that. But like the U.S. Nationals goes from, I think it's like Thursday to a Monday, right? So final eliminations are on Monday, so they have more qualifying sessions to try to get in. And it is like, I've been at that track. When I was down there about 2 years ago, I went to the track for Hot Rod Drag Week, and even just walking around those pits and sitting in those grandstands, like the U.S. Nationals, they call it the Big Go for a reason. And like I remember watching when John Force won, the Big Bud Shootout and the U.S. Nationals, and I remember him saying, "Is it okay for a truck driver to win 110 grand in one day?" And like, oh man! And speaking of John Force, you brought it up. We were talking about it a little bit beforehand. With him has his crash. Fast Jack Beckman gets the call to fill in for John Force for the foreseeable future. And if if somehow, some way, if something crazy happens and Jack Beckman wins Force the championship does go to John Force. There is a substitution rule that is in place.
Gotcha. How cool is that though? Having him back, the 2012 Funny Car champion.
Oh, dude, I love Jack Beckman. He is one of my all-time favorites. There's certain people in the sport that you just click with and you want to become a fan. Clay Millican's one of them. I love Clay Millican. Always a huge fan of him since the IHRA days. But Jack Beckman, get in the call. You knew that somebody was going to get into that peak funny car, but you didn't know who. And there's a lot of great drivers out there that, are looking for rides. Tommy Johnson Jr. is one of them. Jack Beckman. And Beckman got the call. And I think it is a perfect decision. He's great with sponsors. He just had he got his relicensing at Norwalk at the Night Under Fire event. And, it's going to take a little bit for him to mesh with the team, I think, because all those guys, Dan Hood, who is John's son-in-law, Fabrici, all those guys that work on John's car have to get used to how Jack operates, and they got to get used to how he operates, right? It's going to probably take an
example with Leon Tony, because everyone, Leah's crew is the same. They never leave, but having Tony there is different than Leah. So yeah, I sorry for interrupting, but I totally know what you're talking about now, because that crew needs to get really used to Jack because they're so used to John.
Yeah, and you look at Tony, for instance, this season. He's made rounds, and he finally went to the final round at the last race. I think it was Sonoma. He finally went to the final round against Antron Brown. And that's another dude I'm a huge fan of. I love Antron Brown. I love his positivity and just how energetic the guy is. I think Tony will get a win. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And same with Jack. I think Jack, he ran for one of the biggest teams in the sport for Don Schumacher when DSR was still around. And, world champion, multiple race wins. He's still active in the sport. Like, he went back to his day job as an elevator tech, and he's been doing that since. So, he didn't step foot in a car. He would do some stuff with Frank Hawley's school, teaching kids to drive and teaching people to drive the super gas cars and all that. I think Beckman's going to come out with a win. If Austin Prock still just Austin Prock this season, like, steps in from the dragster to Robert Hyde's funny car with his dad, with Jimmy Prock tuning, his brother as the car chief, and he's dominating. So many wins in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, so many Wallies. That kid is going to be a world champion in his rookie season in funny car. That's just my opinion. I think the kid's unbeatable. You look at
getting John Force is making him replace him, right? You talked about him filling in the car. No, in the interview when John Force won, he said this guy's gonna.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be probably when John retires, which I hope to see him race before he retires. That's my bucket list, to see him roar down the track one last time. But I feel like once John retires, it's going to be Austin and Robert in the funny cars. That's probably what he was referring to. I hope to see John go for one more hopeful season so I can go down to a race and see him drive. Being a lifelong John Force fan, diehard fan, it shook me when he had that accident in Virginia. I'm like, man, this could be it. I think he's got one more in him, one more season, his retirement season. Thank you, fans. Special paint schemes. I'd even say, hell, bring Castro back for at least one race, a Castro GTX car for one race. I'd love to see that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months going to next year's season, what that team's going to do.
Yeah, I hear that. And, good transition from there, from the Indianapolis stuff like that. But we'll talk more about me later. But let's talk about you. You went to Edmonton. I know you talked a little bit about it, but you wasn't really in depth about what was going on. So let's hear about your weekend. I know you hung out with the Team Throttle Monster guys, and then you had a different aspect of life on how crew guys deal with arenas.
Yeah, well, a couple months ago we had Tim Hall Jr., the third unofficial Hall brother. Tim came on the podcast, and after the episode, I asked him, "Hey, are you doing Edmonton this year?" He looked at his schedule, like, "Yeah, I am." And I'm like, "Hey, can I come help? I'm only 3.5, 4 hours away, depending on how fast you go." And he was like, "Yeah, come hang out." So loaded up the van. Me and the wife went down to Edmonton, set up a campsite, I'd say 20, 30 minutes away from where the arena was, and made it down there for practice on the Friday, and helped them get the trucks cleaned up a bit. They had practice, and hung out with all the Team Throttle Monster boys, and found out it was Carson Williams' Monster Jam debut. He used to be with Straight Up Racing. Great dude. He was driving Monster at Rottweiler. You had Tim in Jurassic Attack. You had Devin Winfield in Velociraptor, and Joe Uri in Earthshaker. And then I got to hang with some people I really haven't been able to meet yet. Our good buddy Fernando Martinez, got to see him at World Finals briefly. But me, Cheech, Fern, so many people go way back into the MTM2 days, into the Rigs of Rods days. That's where I met Fern, and got to see him drive in person that weekend. And man, he's talented behind the wheel. Got to hang out with Weston Anderson a bit. Another great dude. Fun to hang around. There was a funny moment. Those wind chairs or whatever? Like it's like so Cheech is nodding his head. So there's those wind chairs, and Tim had one, and he's trying to get the air in it. All of a sudden, Weston comes into the locker room. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, trying to get my chair to air up." Weston's like, "Give me that." Goes in the hallway, hands straight up in the air, booking it down the hallway, trying to just like going Mach 10, trying to get air in this chair. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, like at a monster truck show. Just a goofy thing. So yeah, then Saturday rolls around, and I texted Cheech that day. I have a whole new respect for you guys that do arenas. Any arena experience I have, it's just maybe like a 4 or 5 truck show, just concrete, nothing too serious, right? Nothing insane.
Barriers. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Let's say, like, hey, I'm trying to think what it would be in freedom units. But I did 25 or just over 2,500 steps and almost 20 kilometers of walking that day. Because how Rogers was set up. So you had the loading dock, and there was the entrance where the trucks could come through into the arena. That's where the Feld trucks were pitted. The Team Throttle Monster trucks were pitted on the very other end. So we had a bit of a walk carrying jugs of fuel, parts, whatever, you name it. Like I was running back and forth. And it wasn't until after the first show, I'm like, wait a minute. I have my cart that I used to bring up groceries in my van. So I grabbed that, was able to bring, fuel back and forth easier. Wasn't run off my feet as much, but I give you guys props for doing the arenas, because you got to have some stamina. Like, damn, dude. It was a good. Oh, it is. I got back to the campsite, and I got in my tent. My wife's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm tired. I'm done." So, being Carson's debut weekend, he got a racing win. He recently, just this last weekend, got his first overall. Congratulations, Carson. And a couple weeks ago, but my buddy Devin Winfield got his first overall in his hometown in Las Vegas. So congratulations, Devin. Proud of you, buddy. Tim was awesome. All the Throttle Monster guys were so welcoming. The Monster Jam crew. Got to see some people that have been on before. Chandler West used to be with DCT. He's crewing in Monster Jam now. So many people recognized me and said what's up. it was just an awesome weekend. And then the Sunday show, did that and then drove home. And yeah, it was a fun weekend. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to do it again, hopefully one day. And, for somebody that doesn't get too much monster truck action, I still had so much fun. And again, like I said to you, Cheech, I give you guys props because, the arenas take they give you an ass whooping, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, especially those 5 shows. 5 shows are a hefty thing. But I mean, that's the arenas are the way it goes because, they you have to, between shows, try to get the trucks and all that ready to go. And there's a lot of walking, and because a lot of the arenas really, the fire marshals are sometimes dicks. And so if you're carrying, doing fuel and stuff like that, either the trucks go outside or you got to carry those things back. And they're a pain in the butt, but they sure help the community out, though, especially if they don't have a stadium show in that general area. So
yeah, and like I got to give a huge shout out to Mason Paul, the main crew guy with Team Throttle Monster. That dude bust his ass all weekend. I helped as much as I could, as much as they would let me. But that dude is one heck of a guy. I've known him online forever. He's when Monstercast was around, he was one of the brains behind Monstercast as well. We've done some stuff with them in the past.
he was the brain of Monstercast.
Yeah, he was the brain of Monstercast.
He was the brain of it.
Shout out to Mason, such a great dude, and I'm happy for him and getting the chances to drive. And I also searched up 20 kilometers in miles is 12.4 kilometers or miles. So I walked 12 miles that day alone.
So,
which is nuts.
Where you went is the home of the Oilers, right?
Yes, sir.
So is that actually a decent sized arena or is it a small one?
It's a decent sized arena. It's not. It's technically, they considered it a dasher arena because there's no retractable seating. It's a decent size. They did timed racing. It's the same kind of layout as last year, timed racing, no backflip. I did get a picture in front of the doors where the Oilers come out for the home games. That was surreal. Because I didn't exactly know where it was, right? And then I saw it and I'm like, when my wife comes with me on Sunday, I'm getting a picture in front of this thing because as a lifelong Oilers fan, like that's the Holy Land. Beyond those doors is like, and it was just a cool experience. I went to that show last year as a fan for all 3 shows. I went to the stadium show that they did at where the Edmonton Elks play for the Canadian Football League. The only reason why they don't do that show anymore is because of just the Canadian football season. That's the only reason why. Because right now it's CFL season. And, I'd love for them to do the outdoor stadium show again, but they do a good job at Rogers. Even though that weekend there was a lot, there was a big comedy
Rogers
festival.
are there?
So there's Rogers Arena in Vancouver. And then there's Rogers Place, which is in Edmonton.
And then you have the Rogers in Toronto.
Yeah, the big baseball stadium. Rogers. Yeah. So if people know, Rogers is like a cell phone, TV, internet, phone company out here. Okay. So they have a big deal, right? So It was a good experience. It gave me a different side of the sport, because I've been able to work club. I did Calgary Monster Jam club help years ago. Cheech remembers that weekend. Okay. That weekend could have went better.
Still, that was Bennett.
Oh yeah, that should say somebody if you know who that is. But I'm grateful any chance I get to be around, these big dumb trucks we all love. It just makes me happy. Like I don't know, I don't know if it's the the Ashburger's autistic side of me, but there's something about monster trucks that just, I don't know. If I'm ever in a bad mood, I put on some monster trucks and it just goes away. At least for that weekend, I was able to ignore all the crap in my life and just have fun doing what I love. Even though I was dead tired, my feet were sore, I was just exhausted and done. I loved every single second of it because the
So when you
joy
coming
that,
back to America?
oh, dude, I'm hoping next year. It all depends on the winter
Mm.
work season. If I do come back to the US, it'll probably be around April, May, June of next year. Because that's when the oil field season out here really slows down and almost shuts down for a couple months. So I'm hoping to be back next, probably May is what my plan is. I do have plans to be at the World Finals next year. Me and the wife have a big road trip planned because she'll be off teaching from school at that point. So the tentative plan is to do a road trip throughout all of the Western US and hopefully to get some shows down there during World Finals time.
Go to the Grand Canyon and
Yep, that's
Four
the plan.
Points.
We're gonna van camp or rent an RV or something and just tour. I've always wanted to do a big road trip, and she's totally down to do it, and be able to go to World Finals again because I had such a
You
blast at
need
this
one of
World
these
Final.
things. You need one of these.
See, usually when we go on trips, like we van camp. My wife has a 2019 Dodge Grand Caravan, and a double mattress fits in there fine. We fit comfortably, so we might outfit it a little bit for some more storage, but it does fine.
Right here. You need one of these. Overland.
Dude, I'd love that. But instead of that truck, I'd get like a Chevy Colorado, the new Colorados.
Right. You can convert it yourself. See, like this one. That's over dramatic, but
yeah, but
like that.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do something like that myself personally. Like that would be so much fun to do. Eventually, I'm hoping that this oil field stuff picks up where I can save some money and save up for something like that because that'd be fun. You rent it. Yeah, I'd love to do that, Levi. It just depends on finances at the time, but the tentative plan is a big road trip. I want to come down and do a road trip and just have a fun time. Do some monster truck shenanigans, and we'd be going all throughout. Coming back up through BC and spending a couple of days in California, and so it's definitely a goal to do. I love adventuring, traveling. It's one of my favorite things to do when money allows. But yeah, it's definitely a goal. And then let's talk. We kind of touched on it briefly. Transition here to your experience at the Champaign County Fair. It was the Hall Brothers hometown show. You guys had you, Kurt, Tim driving, and then you guys invited Elvis driving overboard. I think it was his first event driving overboard, and the World Finals racing champion Zach in Wildside. And you got your first ever racing win, buddy. Talk about that weekend, because it like you and me have been doing this a long time. We've been friends for a long time, and I love seeing my homies succeed, and seeing you win is like, it made me so freaking proud of you, bro.
Oh, thank you. It took a long time coming. I know that my steps of driving is a little bit different than what you say with someone from Throttle Monster, but I'm in a different situation than they are. The time of doing what I'm doing, it takes time, but you gotta get used to the truck. And it was interesting to say at least, because at the beginning of the week, I was thinking of running BKTs, and I thought we were gonna be running BKTs and stuff like that because Zach and them run the um, Harper or the cheap China tires, and Mark was like, "Nah, just run those Goodyears, and then we're gonna run our Firestones." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And so we get there, and Mark was driving. Tim was the announcer with Nathan Smith, which shout out to Nathan Smith. He hangs out with Wayne and all them Avengers Racing, and he was actually the announcer for the program uh Wednesday for the monster truck show. And then like around 1, 2, 3 o'clock, that whole area's 1 to 3, it just rained. Made the track a little bit sloppy. At around 3 o'clock, the rain just stopped. Like it stopped. The sun came out. So outside of the rain, it became muggy heat. They went ahead and started scraping the mud. I got the pump and stuff like that, but still, the dirt and the mud itself was really sticky. Just pulling into the pit party, people's tires are starting to get caked, and I just talked to a couple of the other drivers, mostly Dale Benier. If people don't know him, he was one of the original Ray Munitions, and he drove Hotsy from General Tire. He was a good, cool cat. And another one that had helped me that event was Jeremy Dishman. So if anyone knows about Jeremy, he was the 2007 four-wheel drive Jamboree champion with Ray Munition. He put the truck on the map, I thought, prior to Jeremy's brother Matt. But with them and Matt, Dale, all mostly Ray Munition drivers, they did help me out a lot in the slick conditions and stuff like that. On the bar above my seat, it says, "Don't suck!" Exclamation point. I didn't come here to finish second. On
If
inside
you
my
ain't
cab.
first, you're
And I looked
last.
around like I was like, "Who put that?" Jeremy's like, "I did it," and I was like, "Okay, Jeremy," and I stuck it on there, and I went to my way of I watched some old Monster Jam footage, and I was studying Raptoid and how he was running around the turns and stuff like that. He had type of good years, but it wasn't like mine. And I went and I did what I did during qualifying. I put up a good pass, I thought, but I was focusing on turning the marks. I knew the truck was going to slide, so I slide with the truck prior to its turn. So when I was turning the truck was already moving to the point. Then I was making my apex and then proceeding to go over the cars, while everyone else kept on hot dogging around it. Um, I saw Mark Hall's approach where he went as far as he could to find dry stuff, then turn and kind of full tilt boogie around the cars. And but I made my point. I made my not my point, but my marks and everything like that. That I could uh go and do that. And I just kept on proceeding and running and running and running, and just kept on racing my own race, and went from there. Ethan Jones is here, but it could, yeah. So, what happened? Oh,
No, it
there
should
you
still be
go.
there.
So I mean, I was just you know slow was fast in this race. A lot of people thought that the good years helped out, but I thought to myself, um, even if you're a first time racer, those good years weren't gonna help you out uh, at all, and you just had to drive the track. Um, I mean, right there, Kurt went the truck slid over to the FMX ramp. Well, yeah, because there was supposed to be this motorcycle demo team that was supposed to be here, but they canceled out because of the track itself, and it's all muddy and stuff like that. So they did their own thing. See, like how he just hit the brakes as he was making his turn, and different forms. Look at that. He's already like Elvis is already having drag slicks on those Chinas, so that wasn't helping. But he was adapting to the track. So he was the one that I had to face in the finals. Um, but still, I mean, I thought I just did my own racing. I made my own marks and stuff like that, and went away and got my first win. I was having a little bit of some starter issues, but it's only like a few minutes here or there, so don't have to skip everything there, Brad.
Okay. I was just trying to find your races.
It's all right. People can watch it. It helps Ethan out. Ethan's watching. So this situation, I neutral dropped it, but Zach left when I left. And so in this scenario right here, Zach's driving, but the truck's going backwards. And then I just did something stupid here. I cut the course. I basically went on the FMX ramp and finished it out. I basically
Going
had
up
back
against
to
the
back.
boss man. Yeah, you can see there, Mark just takes it way too wide and just spins. And Cheech keeping it nice and easy and slow. Just Jim Jack over Jim Jack racing.
That's all I could do. And then this one was pretty crazy because Zach was all over the place. But you could tell, even with Elvis, you could tell he's starting to slow is better than hot dogging it.
I will
But
say that
He slowed
exhaust on
down
the
because Zach.
on that overboard sounds so damn good.
Yeah, you got to thank the metal shop for that.
Oh,
They're
those
the
metal
ones that
shop
put that.
headers just sound nasty, dude. I'd like to see what one of those would sound on a like on a Hemi. And here's the finals. Just no traction with those China tires, but look at you, just all the traction, man.
Well, yeah, that was the racing final right there. But um, I definitely thought that the slow and steady portion and just focus on my points on the turn, I thought really helped me out. But um, the cool thing is, I was really honored. Was the first person that came over to me and shook my hand and talked to me for a good while was Mark Hall. He came out of his truck and went directly to me and shook my hand and talked to me for a good while. He even said congratulations on the radio, but he was the first one to do that for me. And you know, uh, the crew guys did too, and Tim also, and Nathan, and a few other people on the team that didn't, but whatever, it's okay. But still, it was a humbling experience. I mean, even though this, I thought, for me personally, I would probably the racing. This would be an asterisk next to it, but a win's a win. Uh, Conditions is the way the conditions are, but I wouldn't mind facing these guys on a dry, fair racetrack and work my way. Try to beat them. The best of their truck and the best of their abilities on stuff like that. It's every single time I'm behind the wheel of a truck, it's a humbling experience. But if this is the you know only one, or there hopefully a few more, but I still had fun. I had a good time, even though it was a mud fest. It was still a learning experience about that, and I can't ask for any better opponents to face than my own teammates and the two guys that I basically saw all year round.
And
with
it's also really
Zach
cool to see
Garner and
Elvis.
Elvis.
It's cool to see Elvis back in a truck. It's, he is very talented behind the wheel, and now that he's getting a chance with Jamie, it's good to see.
Yes, yes, and his attitude's completely 180. I feel like he got the I guess the pressure and the tension of being a Monster Jam driver while he's trying to prove himself to win. When Jamie gave him a new life, and he's cool, calm, and collective. He doesn't take everything the way it is. If something happens, he goes, whatever, we'll move on and face again. It is what it is. So he's understanding that type of the psychology of the monster truck world, where um you know uh, it's monster trucks. Just do your job and don't try to push yourself going out and stuff like that, and just have fun. Kurt asked, do you guys think Chad will be out and Elvis will be next first quarter? No, Chad will still be there. um there's still talks going on with Elvis and Monster Jam. um but right now Chad looks like he's still part of it.
I've always wondered what one of those Hall Brothers trucks would sound with, like Tim Jones zoomies, or you know what I'm talking about, like Digger zoomies. I wonder how nasty those trucks would sound with like a nice pair of
Those would
zoomies on
be
them.
considered funny cars, right?
Yeah, like the funny car style zoomies, like what Zimmer's running. What Zimmer's running sometimes. I'd love to see that.
Right. Because I know we have a couple of those, the like the Nitro Dragster headers,
Yeah, I would just
the
love to
ones
see
that
a
fly it
Hall
up.
Brothers truck with some zoomies coming out the side there. That'd be so sick.
Oh yeah, Brad made that Ram flag, and then 6B printed it out and made it.
Yep. But dude, it's kind of funny. Like at times I've come to terms with, yeah, I've driven a ride truck, and I thank Don Frankish for that opportunity. That was still surreal that I was behind the wheel of a monster truck. But like sometimes I've come to terms like, yeah, I might never be able to drive a race truck. But then there's times where my brain goes, you know what? Anything is possible, right? And
Yeah.
like as you see behind me, I don't know, right there, I have my sim racing set up, and I have my rear steer handle, and I know like games like BeamNG and rigs aren't realistic, but like I've been just going hard on trying to get used to the rear steer in those games. Like, and I even asked Fern, I'm like, dude, when I was at the Monster Jam show, I asked him, dude, like how stupid advertisement. Like how has like Beam and rigs helped you? And he's like, dude, it has helped me so much. Like doing like the stoppies and stuff, just getting the motion down. Like you're not obviously you don't feel the truck tip up and find that balance point, but in those games it gives you an idea of when to hit the gas, when to hit the brake, when to shift. It kind of helps you in that motion, right? And that's
Hmm.
what I've been kind of trying to learn and do, in case like, hey, if hell freezes over and I get to drive a truck, I kind of have an idea of kind of certain things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, a lot of NASCAR drivers today, they just run on iRacing. They don't even.
Yeah, I'll say this: if you've played, if anybody here has played Beam, I know Cheech plays Beam. I've been playing with a lot of the T-Ray guys, and the Willman, the Mentz chassis in Beam. I don't know what it is. If it's how that truck just how it likes to sway really a lot, but that truck is dangerous with me. Like on my sim setup, I just whip that thing into turns and somehow it sticks.
Mm.
Because each chassis, because people have made the CRD, the Cohen, PEI, Race Source, the Willman, and each truck in a way drives different. It's not even in rigs or rods, each truck drives very different from each other. And it takes a bit to get used to. Like I remember, like Cheech, you were there at the end of MTM2, beginning of rigs or rods, and it was a big transition for us when we went to rigs or rods back in the day.
Hmm. Yeah, especially if getting all used to it. You also, it was kind of like going from MTM to the Razor Rods was like running leafers to coilover nitrogen shock trucks.
Yeah,
You
because
find out the people that were good at MTM2 wasn't so much good at ROR.
no, because in rigs or rods, you had to control the rear steering. As it with MTM2, you didn't have to really deal with having to control the rear steering. So it took a lot of us a bit of time. Like, I don't think I ever really got a win in rigs or rods. I made it to a finals at a Vegas event, but that was as close as I've got.
Yeah, my
MTM2, I
most
made.
successful wells, my successfulness was ROR.
Yeah, MTM2, I had a few wins, mainly freestyle wins, but like it's crazy. And I know I've brought it up and I'll always bring it up, but it's so cool to see how many of us started in the video game stuff and have had careers in the monster truck industry. You look at Cody Saucier was kind of the first to really break that mold, I guess you would say. He was, there was trucks that he made that we were still playing in the early 2000s or late 2000s. And you look at Cody Saucier in his career, and he started playing MTM2. And Josh Rhodes, yourself, me with the designs, Fern, so many, Alex Pecorelli, a tech official, so many of us. And it's just so cool to see. And I'll always bring it up because I'm proud of where we've come from, and it makes me so proud to see guys like you and Fern and so many others that I've raced against getting chances in real life. It makes me so damn proud of everybody.
Yeah, it took some time though. I tell you that much, but it's awesome to see and everything like that. And it just, like you're right. We have tech officials. We have Steve Perry. He runs a monster truck program with Versus.
Yeah,
I mean?
and
He runs.
He ran the SPHRA, which is the Steve Perry Hot Rod Association, and WMCTS. Those are the two leagues he ran that I remember doing back in the day. And now to see him own his own company, do his own shows, it is just so damn cool to see. Like, this industry is such a amazing group of people, like it just brings so many different walks of life and people together. And that's why monster trucks for me will always be my favorite motorsport, because it's just fun. Like Levi here, like he said, it took him 6 years to even get to move a race truck. He was just thankful for that. Like, and even like the people that have been in this industry before us see us young guys coming up, they're not like, oh, look at these young guys. No, they're like, hey, come on in. Guys like Gene Patterson, for instance, he has been so welcoming to us, and he's been on the show a couple times. So many others, and you look at like how this industry's brought back people into it. Look at John Kwasniewski, bringing back Buffalo Tremor 2 this past weekend, fully restored. Absolutely sending it in that truck, breaking a wheel off. But you look at he wasn't in the industry. People really didn't know of him until they did the TNT Unfinished Business. And now look, he rebuilt Buffalo Tremor 2. Like, this industry is just amazing, man.
It is, and I love it, and we can't wait to talk to wonderful Preston Perez next weekend, the Toxic Driver. We haven't talked to him in a few years, so we're going to have him back and running. Then we'll get Tim Tyson back in. Man, you know what I'm talking about. But Tim Dyson.
Just think Dyson vacuums.
Yes. And then we'll have him back and stuff like that. But if anyone wants to follow the Crush This page, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Just Crush This, a Monster Truck Podcast. Also, the 5-star likes and reviews on iTunes and Spotify. Once again, thank you to J Concepts for what they have done. If you have a chance to do that, go to jconcepts.net for 15% off all items on their products. I'll have trucks coming back next year and stuff like that, but also want to say thank you to a company that has helped us along the way for giveaways and stuff like that. But 2 days ago, they closed their division doors, and that is JB Scale Graphics. They were officially they were an RC wrap company, but they also did a lot some helmets, some full scale vehicles, 4400 stuff like that. 2 days ago, they shut down their doors on the RC division, so you can still go on the website to order stuff, but they're limited. So if you overbuy their stuff, they will return your money and then all that jazz. So me and Levi we're both team drivers for them. Hate to see them go, but it is what it is. Life goes on. And stuff like that. And also the same thing is with High Octane Coffee. Joey Sylvester sold that company, I think, a good maybe the end of last year, the beginning of this year. We have unfortunately not renewed the contract with them, and so we still have their logos on some of their stuff, but it is what it is. But so I want to say thank you from the start. This will be almost 10 years with Crush This, and High Octane's been there from the start. I do want to thank them and all that jazz. Also, MTRC, Kobe Marshall and his group. Thank you again for our intro video that we normally do with guests, but since it was a live kind of deal and me and Brad were here, we didn't have a guest. We just came over here and just BS and have a good time talking about our last couple weeks. A lot of excitement, a lot of stuff like that in general. And also Back Channel Productions. Thank you for what they have done also. They do their commercials and stuff like that. So thank you for them representing what they have. So be on the lookout for next year. We'll have some new intro videos, new stuff going on in general. But for me, you can follow me at Dan Agosh at Facebook. We're just gonna do it like this, make all you people know who I am and what I do. And so that is my Facebook. If you see that icon, that is me.
No, I put it on solo so people can see it bigger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Anyone want to follow me? You just saw my Snapchat. So if you want to go there, that is my Instagram. So it's MT_Dan Agosh 28. And then I post stupid videos on TikTok, mostly games and college football stuff. So that's about it. And once again, if you guys go to, let me get that. That's Crush This on Facebook. Some people are watching already on there, but just wanted to let people refresh. That's Instagram, which also, once again, thank you for everyone that was part of that helped out with for the 31 days of July for the 31 helmets ordeal. We did miss a couple days, not gonna lie, but it was cool seeing Jim Kramer at the end of it giving us helmets and stuff like that. So if you're fans, we're gonna take a poll, and I think we're gonna do this, and we gotta find another 31 just for kicks and giggles.
Here's here's an idea for another kind of fun monthly thing, which I think for next month we could try to do. Is I'll make a post. I was thinking about this earlier today. I'll make a post, and you put your favorite it's either going to be favorite monster truck moment, and we'll do a bracket challenge, or your favorite monster truck move and do a bracket challenge. I think that would kind of be a fun thing to do. So I'll put up a poll after the show, And I'll put it's either a choice of your favorite monster truck moment in history or your favorite monster truck move. I think that would be fun to do.
I was also thinking about so what we're gonna do is it doesn't take a month to do so, but it may do a month. We're gonna do Brad's idea and have helmets versus helmets, and fans pick which helmet they like, and go from there. But
Okay, so
we may come up with that.
We'll do the helmet for September, and then October will be either the monster truck moments or the monster truck move challenge bracket.
I think we should do the moments in November, since that the moves and the thing in November, since Hall of Fame's that weekend.
Okay, that works. That works. So yeah, in the next few months, we'll have some bracket challenges, just something fun that we want to interact more with you guys and have some fun with that. I think it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. And if you guys want to follow me, check me out on Facebook at Bradley Shaw. It's this profile here. Picture of me and my grandmother, SoFi Stadium. Follow me on social media at the only monster truck Canucker. Check me on the Snapchat if you want. I think it's Shaw Design 01 or Brad Shaw Design 01. I don't know. And again, like Cheech said, thank you guys for all the 5-star likes and reviews, everything that we do. Thank you for all the love and support. It's almost 10 years, guys, and we're going to come.
Also, further news here. Just want to let you further news. I think we're doing something big here on YouTube. The reason why, switch accounts. So right now on we have, how do I find out who view channel? Okay, we have 459 subscribers right now. If we go to 500, I guess we get something going on that helps our podcast out from YouTube.
So let's get us to 500 people. Let's get that push to 500 followers on our YouTube channel. And, that'd be really awesome. That would definitely help us out. But, coming up to our 10th anniversary, guys, we're going to go hard for next year. A lot of cool stuff that we're going to try to plan for you guys. My hope is a live episode with me and Cheech in the same room, doing the episode live. I think that'd be really fun. Just trying to get some cool guests for next year. All new graphics for next year. It's going to be awesome, guys, what we have planned. And, with the help from, Colby with MTRC, Nick with Back Channel, Jay Concepts, the next season of the show next year is just we're going to hit it hard, guys. And I hope you're ready. Me and Cheech we've had some discussions about what's going to happen for next year with the podcast. And we're going to be like, Rand, ooh, yes, macho man, you're going to, we're going to hit it hard next year for you guys. And, crank out some awesome content again. Obviously, always during first quarter, we try to bank a couple episodes in the, for pre-recording. We'll probably do that again. It just helps Cheech out when he's out during first quarter and when I'm busy with my work. But guys, next year's going to slap. Y'all aren't ready for this.
It's so good. Slap your mama.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. And guys, check up on your friends and family. Mental health is very important. Cheech, me and Cheech tried it last week. I was going through some crap myself, just dealing with work stuff. It's been kind of hit and miss sometimes, and it was trying to affect my mental health. And, me and Cheech talked about it. We had a good chat about it, and, just check up on your friends and family. It's mental health is important, man. We don't want to lose you. We've lost too many people from suicide and self-harm, and we want to keep you. We want to keep you around.
This guy.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that angry little guy. Okay. Be happy. All right. Be happy. And guys, next week is Mr. Preston Perez, our good buddy. And next week after that is Tim Dyson. And then Cheech will figure out to get somebody else on. I'm also possibly wanting to do a either rigs event or a beam event. If that'd be something you guys would be interested in, I want to partner up with the T-Ray channel and do that. That's kind of a cool idea that I've thought of for a while. If you want to see that, let us know. And anything else, Mr. Agash?
Oh yeah, be it Springdale, Arkansas, August 17th, in the Monster Truck Insanity Tour, Bigfoot, Ramunition, Predator, Redneck Rampage, and Crusheroo will be there. And then also October 26th, going to be some time ahead of time. We moved the Hall Brothers Classic to Eli Field, home of Horizon Hobby, Horizon Fest. We'll be racing 3 rounds of racing and night freestyle. So come along if you guys are RC guys and want to race. October 26th, doors open at 7:30 a.m. Racing starts at 9:30 a.m. No qualifying. We'll just straight bracket, straight racing. So that it will be some fun time there. So come out, have some fun. We'll get some hotel information, stuff like that for you cats. And then hopefully we'll set up there. So once again, October 26th, the 4th annual Hall Brothers Classic, HBR Classic. This time at Eli Field in Monticello, Illinois, the home of Horizon Fest. I am done.
Hell yeah. Go check that out. And hopefully we get to see Mr. Dan Agash versus Alan Pizzo. I'd love to see that.
It's going to be the first show that I face a Bigfoot truck.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Paul Brothers against Team Bigfoot.
Oh, hell yeah. It's going to be a good one. And guys, until next time, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, everybody.